Hello neighbor, this is Curt with Etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the pewag Servo Tire Chains on our 2025 Nissan Rogue. Now if you have questions about these chains or even some experience with them before, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. We love to take that information and share it with other neighbors in order to help them make the best decisions for themselves. So this set of tire chains is what's called self-tensioning, meaning as you're driving down the road, it's going to constantly be keeping tension on the chains so they're not going to shift or come loose on you. And it's all going to be done through this ratcheting device here that's attached to a cable and looped through right down here. Now the chains are made out of a titanium alloy, so corrosion is not going to be an issue. It is a square link, and they are smaller links too, so that should offer a really nice smooth ride for you while also keeping a little bit of an edge to the links in order to bite through some of that snow. It is a diamond pattern, and what a diamond pattern means is that rather than going straight across like a traditional ladder pattern would, these are coming across at an angle, and what that means is that there is always, no matter where you're at, there's always some chain between the road and the tire. This is also going to really improve your turning ability in those icy conditions as well. The installation of them is simple. It is not a set of tire chains that you actually have to crawl under the car to make connections. We're going to walk you through how we do that right now. The first thing we want to do anytime before we install tire chains is get them laid out and remove any twists or kinks that might have ended up while in storage. If this is not our first time using the tire chains, we also want to double check to make sure there's no damage from the last time that we used them. We've got them laid down so that on the cable end, the open end of these hooks is facing down. That way, when we get it installed, we can ensure that they're facing away from our tire sidewalls. And you may notice that I have gloves on as well, and there is a good reason for that. I always recommend using gloves when handling tire chains. There can be some sharp edges, and you can get pinched and things like that when you're using these. So having gloves on to protect your hands is a good idea. But not only that, more often than not, when you have to apply a set of tire chains, the weather conditions aren't that great. So I would get used to putting these on and taking them off with gloves if I were you. But as we've got it all laid out and we've got it straight, there are no twists or kinks in the chain that I'm worried about. We are going to have a full-length cable up here that's going to go behind the tire. And around the front of the tire, we're going to have this separation here. That's going to allow us to get it draped over and then connect this after we have it on the tire. So the first thing that you want to do is make that separation. And we're going to go ahead and feed one end of the tire chain around the back of the tire. Pull that around here, and we want to get that connection point out there and available for its counterpart over here on this other side. So once we have that all laid out, we're going to grab one end of our cable here. We're going to try to drape the chains as much as possible. They could possibly slip and fall on you and things like that, but do what you can to manage getting them up there. We'll grab the other end, and we're going to come up and make this connection. Just cinch it right through like that, and then we're going to continue to try to drape as much as we can on the front and get this balanced out. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the chain centered up here with that middle link. We're trying to get that centered on the tire as much as possible. Then I'm going to connect this red hook to this red piece of chain here. Go ahead and clip that in. And one of the things that you may notice is that the connections here at the end are a rounded plastic, and that's really nice because a lot of times there's metal hooks on tire chains coming up against the sidewalls of the tires or against the rim that could do some damage. These are going to be able to protect your wheels because they're not going to be scratching them up or really doing any harm to them at all. Okay, so now that we've got all that kind of pulled around, I'm going to go ahead and feed some of this back, try to give myself some slack here in the front, and I'm going to be connecting this with this hook right here. So after that gets hooked in there, we can come right over here to our tensioning device, and you'll see that it's got two buttons on it. One is to open, that's just to give us some slack. And if we hit the drive, it's going to ratchet and cinch all of this up for us. Now, I'm going to continue to make some adjustments. I'm going to continue to pull on this chain here just to get as much overall tension around everything as possible. You could probably hear it slightly clicking some more. It's going to continue to do that as we drive. So this is going to kind of self-center and really just self-tension, for lack of a better term, around the tire as we go, just giving you a good snug fit the whole ride. And that's a really nice peace of mind to have because, you know, most tire chains that don't have a self-tensioning device like this, you really do have to constantly keep an eye on them, make sure they're still centered, make sure they're not getting twisted or loose anywhere, and just offering an overall more pleasurable ride for you. So with all that being said, I think this would be an excellent set of tire chains for your Nissan Rogue. I'm Curt with Etrailer. Thanks for stopping by.